Hey everyone, welcome to Collector Chatter. This is episode 50. I'm your host Miguel here, my co-host Charlie. And in today's episode, we got a jam-packed episode. There's a ton of Funko news. We're going to talk about the state of Funko Sodas, like what is going on with some of that stuff. We have a bunch of cons and different drops that have been named, but a lot of stuff coming out we're really excited for. So make sure that you listen to everything we're going to talk about in today's episode.
And whether you're listening on podcast platforms or YouTube, thank you so much for your support. So if you're on the podcast platforms, please follow our podcast. And then over on YouTube, come over there and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like our videos, comment on all of them, and hit that notification bell so you know when new videos are coming out. All right, with that being said, let's chat.
I need Dragon Sword power! The special teams, give me all you got!
All right, everyone. Welcome to another great episode. Episode 50, big milestone episode for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty big deal. It's been a little while, putting out a lot of episodes for you guys as much as we can, but we're really excited for this episode. A lot of news, a lot of great stuff was announced in the Funko world, community, Disney world. We're going to talk about some crazy
Yeah.
Disney news later. A lot of stuff, but obviously we did want to start off by saying, we had some sad news. If you are, any type of collector, even a just childhood watching this show, Power Rangers, let's talk about it. It was one of the greatest, shows for both of us, honestly,
Yeah.
which is crazy because it hit us pretty hard. But obviously, Jason, David, Frank, if you guys didn't know, who was obviously famously known as Tommy, Green Ranger, White Ranger, sadly passed away. So definitely was some sad news. I know it hit you pretty hard too as well. Same as me, because I just remember him growing up, like, coming home from school and watching Power Rangers. It was like
Me
a big
too.
deal.
He is my favorite character. Growing up, like I idolized him. Like Green Ranger, White Ranger, both were awesome. Had the toys. Like I even, if anyone follows us on social media, we did a few posts about it. And I had one where I found my original White Ranger toy that I had gotten when I was a kid. Like that really, I mentioned this in episodes before, but like collecting Power Ranger toys is like, I feel like my first real collection. So it's just like, and even to this day, like I just, there, something about that show has always just like continued my fandom for it. And, he really was just the man. I had been fortunate enough. I've met him at cons before. He is just like the nicest guy. Some people would, if you were to Power Rangers fan, you'd be like, oh my God, this guy's still milking like the Power Rangers. But like, it wasn't that for him. Like, he just like, he knew how much the fans loved that show. And he really, I felt he cared about the fans. So he's going to obviously is really sad news and just going to be missed in general. But in this community, he's really going to be missed because he was always someone that like you just wanted to see at the con.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say, like, especially not only if you watch, Power Rangers or you watch any of that, like Charlie said, us as collectors, like the reason why our community was hit so much is because exactly what you said. If you ever gone to cons, he was like one of the big names that was like almost always at all the cons. Like
Yeah.
you always thought of him. There's certain people, and it was always him taking pictures, signing autographs. Like I saw so many people posting like their Green Ranger pops, like signed by him. Like tons of people were able to meet him, and every single person said amazing things about how he treated them. If they had kids, how he treated their kids.
Yeah.
Like it was super cool to see. So sadly, we did lose a pretty big name for us, and at least we know he's going to live on, but either way, we're still going to continue to, love his character and going forward. I'm sure, this could be, it's sad for us, but, we'll move on. Like you said, we put some posts up
Yeah.
and that was pretty cool that you were able to find that.
Yeah.
I had posted up a little picture, trying to make it like
That was
cool with
awesome.
all the other Rangers behind him. So definitely check it out on Instagram. It was cool. But yeah, we'll get into some of the news. So like I said, this episode is going to be a lot of news driven stuff. We have some big topics, like we're obviously going to talk about like drops and certain things and NFTs and pops that were coming out. But we have some pretty big topics surrounding Funko Sodas and kind of what's going on with those, what's going to happen for the future, what do we think about it. We also have some pretty cool news for the Disney aspect of things. This is kind of greater than just Funko. This is just a big Disney news stuff that we'll get into. But right off the bat, we'll kind of talk about maybe one of the bigger like lines. This is a kind of a thing that has happened every year. It's called Popapalooza, which is basically just like more of a music pop driven line. And this one came out with some music pops and some gold and pops, well, not pops, but Funko Gold also in that line. But yeah, just kind of off the bat, we had obviously the Iron Maiden stuff. They always Funko loves making these damn things. They obviously made them into NFTs and everything.
Yeah.
I'm not really a fan. They look pretty cool. Like the characters are always like cool. There's some like glow in the dark ones. It looks like they have like a 4-pack actually is one of them. And it's exclusive to AE, which I think we talked about that being exclusive one time. There was like 1 or 2 pops randomly that we were talking about one day that was on an AE exclusive. So it's always kind of
it's always random.
Yeah, like a random one. But that was one of them. Most of these I wasn't really excited for it. Honestly, like let's start this way. I'll talk about maybe the 2 or 3 that I was like, okay, I actually like these.
Yep.
One was the Usher album, which is pretty sweet.
That's the best one.
It's just awesome. The pose looks amazing. They actually there was a video that they dropped with Usher and the Funko page with him being unveiled, like the
which
pop
is cool.
and looking at it, which is really cool. So that was one that I thought was awesome. There's also New Kids on the Block was another 5-pack that's supposed to be coming out. That was also announced. And then there's a Biggie album. Now, there's obviously a ton of Biggie albums, but it's pretty cool to see another one. They milked the Biggie stuff, but other than that, it was kind of like some rock ones. I don't know, were you fans or did you like any of these?
Honestly, I was pretty disappointed by this. I actually don't think I will get anything from this announcement, which is like crazy for me to say. I can't say the last time they've had like an announcement of like a bunch of products where I don't want anything. I was really upset we didn't get Michael Jackson stuff. Like I really
there's been rumors about that for so long.
There's been rumors, and this just seemed like when it was going to happen, and it didn't. So, but I'll say like I do think the best one was the Usher album. Like agreeing with you. New Kids on the Block 1, 2 as well. I feel like people probably wanted those, so it's cool. Not for me. And then I thought it was kind of random they threw in the South Park ones, which also super weird. Like it's interesting. So my cousin, one of our big fans, Anthony, he already has these. He bought them at Hot Topic before they were even announced. When he told me, I'm like, dude, are you sure? I think you're wrong. And he sent me a picture of them. So that's like wild that like he already had them before they were announced. So I don't know if
weird.
Hot Topic just released them too early, which I'm assuming is the case because I'm pretty sure he found them in store. But yeah. So all in all, yeah, I thought this was pretty weak though in general.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Overall, like not really excited for it. There was like Twisted Sister. There was what's this guy? Like a bunch of weird ones. There was a Flavor Flav one, which was kind of funny. But
if you're into like old school, like heavy metal type rock, I feel like this was like a good.
There was even an Elvis
drop for
Pop
you.
Gold. Elvis Pop Gold that came out, which is random.
And Bella Porch.
Which they've been milking hers a lot now. So Pantera, The Cure, like I don't know, nothing that like really, like you said, like I said, the Usher one I thought was really cool, but not probably even going after any of these. Maybe that one, but that's probably it. But that was Popapalooza. So nothing crazy in terms of that drop, but it was a big drop either way because there was a lot of stuff that was announced for it.
Another pop, just completely random, coming out of the Popapalooza, was to continue. I always kind of bring this line up, the Star Wars line, the Power of the Galaxy, which is all female characters. They came out with the new Ahsoka pop. I think this may be one of the best Ahsoka molds they've ever made. I'm super excited for this pop. Honestly, I've been collecting them all, and you could probably still go on Amazon and get them all. This one sold out pre-orders basically
Oh
like
yeah.
immediately. So just to show like this was a pretty popular pop, and I'm happy that they continue to give, for the most part, everything, and I've said this in the past, have been new molds for this line, which is cool. So I'm a fan of that one.
Yeah, that one was sick. I mean, it looked amazing. The mold is pretty sweet, and it's obviously a pretty popular character in general.
Yeah.
Usually, when it drops a pop, it's usually pretty sought after. So definitely something I 100% agree was amazing. Then we also had pretty cool. So we had a couple 10-inch announcements. One of them was the Sentinel with Wolverine, the tiny little Wolverine.
Yeah.
But what was cool about this one is there's a Blacklight Chase. So everyone's kind of freaking going crazy about that because, you know, the mold looks pretty cool. I do like that they have like the standard one and then a Blacklight Chase. I did kind of, when we were talking about it, I kind of said that it was similar to the Galactus, but then I realized the Galactus had two different Blacklight versions.
Correct. Yep.
Like there was a Blacklight normal one and then just a different color variant, which in that case, that's kind of, this one's cooler. Like the Blacklight Chase being the only one that's Blacklight, I think it's cooler. But I think it looked pretty cool, and it's very similar to that one in the sense of where you're getting a giant pop and then a small little one that also comes with it. So that's pretty cool. That we're seeing more and more of these, you know, other Marvel characters, which is exciting because it makes you really hope that they start putting these into the MCU. I know when Galactus came out, I was like, oh man, they got to get this in there as well. So that was a cool one. And then the other 10-inch, I mean, this thing, when I saw this
is awesome.
I was like, bro, this is so sick. And I know you for a fact probably love it just as much because they don't make him in anything other than normal size pops, right?
They do not.
Yeah. So it's a Darth Vader 10-inch. It's pretty general looking. It probably is a recycled mold because mostly for the 10-inch they usually do that, but it's freaking fire. I think it's so sick.
It's funny. Correct me if I'm wrong, everyone in the comments, but I know this is crazy. I actually think it's a new stance. It's a new mold.
Is it? Okay, so maybe.
I mean, I think his hand
may
may be a little different. The way the lightsaber's tilted, I could be wrong because I do have most of the Vader.
Because they usually do make the 10-inch is usually, and the way to tell is if you look at the number. The number on the box will usually be one that already exists, and that's the only reason why I realize that is because I do have a lot of 10-inch pops, and for the most part they are, unless they're like a con or something. Paint job is different on it. It's usually a redone one. But either way, I don't even care. Like, because it doesn't exist in this. Like, that's a character. I've always said, like, I buy a bunch of 10-inches, but it's usually either like a really, really favorite character of mine or like some pop where the detail, like, you need a bigger version of it because it looks sick. And this just seems like it's going to be. And obviously, they're always bobbleheads, like the Mando, the Boba Fett, like those look sick in 10-inch, which I own those. So getting the Darth Vader is going to be like a must, and that actually is coming out the 28th. So November 28th is when it's supposedly going to be dropping. So definitely look out for that. So definitely some pretty sweet 10-inches, you know, coming out pretty soon. So excited about those.
Yeah, me too. That one looks awesome. Another one I'm excited about. We've been talking every week about that the Justice League Target exclusive line that's been coming out every Friday. This past one was Superman, and it's particularly awesome because it's Superman with a mullet, and they don't make a Funko Pop of that. You know, a lot of people were actually I've heard have been asking for this, and even when we talked about last episode, you see those silhouettes, and it's kind of like you know who it is.
Yeah,
a lot of people are like, oh my god, is this Superman finally with a mullet? And people are like, no way, they're not going to do it, and they did. And I think this is fire. I actually like that this line has been pretty much new molds too. They're not just recycling them.
Yep. Yeah, they've definitely been new molds. They've been a different version of it, very comic style. And they're not like the movies. So you are getting a little bit different of a character. It's a pretty big line. I mean, I think the leak already came out for Aquaman is going to be the next one. I think that might be the last one, or maybe there's one more.
Martian Manhunter is the last one.
Martian Manhunter, yeah, which looks awesome as well.
Yeah.
But like, there's a lot. There's like 8 of them or so, which is a pretty good size. But they all look really cool. The molds look great, the colors, and then that whole little like paint job that they have on them, like comic booky, is pretty sweet. So definitely a cool one. And it is cool to see that Superman with the hair like that. It looks pretty funny. Especially when, you know, everyone was saying it's like a mullet. So it's pretty awesome. We also had another kind of drop, I guess you could say. I'm so confused with how this one happened, but we were rumoring a long time like this whole winter con thing that was going to be. Didn't know what it was, where it was, all that kind of stuff, but it was like leaks and that supposedly certain pops were going to be in this line, blah blah blah. So now we got like more of an official drop, and it's actually a Brazil Comic-Con, is what it's called, and it's themed Beach Bash, which I think is kind of hilarious because
It's the
you know,
winter
during
con.
winter. And I mean, I get it. I guess down there is nice and hot, but either way, it is the winter shared retail exclusives, Brazil Comic Con. I don't know if has there ever been a Brazil Comic Con before. Is this the first time?
I don't know if it's the first time this con is taking place, but Funko's never been affiliated with it like this.
Yeah. But they're doing it Beach Bash, which already has existed.
They've
They
done
did
that.
that for what con was that one? Was it like an LA? It was one of the cons they did that,
I think it was. I want. Okay, everyone, correct
or
us if we're
Emerald
wrong.
City or
I
something.
don't know. I think it may have been like their theme when like San Diego Comic Con didn't actually happen
Okay,
during the
yeah, that might have
pandemic,
been what it was.
which makes
Yeah,
sense. Like they
because I
made
had that
shirts for
T-shirt.
it.
I remember
Yeah.
having a
Okay.
shirt. I
Yeah.
remember having a shirt for that one.
I think it was for that.
So there is two sodas, a handful of pops, and even a comic cover. Which, like I said, we've kind of talked about some of these because they were rumored to be in a WinterCon, but we just didn't know the official stuff.
Yep.
So now we got it. We'll just kind of run through them quickly. So the sodas are, of course, we do have what's her name, Arwen, which is from Lord of the Rings. We do have a Hawkman, which is interesting because this is Hawkman from the Black Adam movie, the new one, which a Hawkman soda kind of recently dropped not too long ago, but it
Yeah.
was more
Just
like the
did.
comic style one. Which they obviously have the comic style Black Adam, so maybe that means we're gonna get a you know an actual movie version, Dwayne Johnson
You
soda,
would hope, think.
because you would think so if they have Hawkman ones, kind of random. But those are the two sodas, kind of cool, nothing crazy, but they're all right. And then the comic cover one was the actual Joker one, which we've kind of talked about that one before. But as far as the pops go, not really my type of con. Like I'm not really excited about this at all. It does is very anime driven, so there was definitely a lot
Yeah.
of anime ones in this line. We do have a Treasure Island, not Treasure Island, sorry, Treasure Planet pop, which I know is a pop ride, which I know you probably
Yeah. I'm
really
pretty
excited for
excited for
that
that.
one.
That's cool. That's
So that one's pretty cool. We spoke about that in the past, I think. We now have the other, so it's Darth Beam, which is a Simpsons character, which we got the first two like bully guys, and now we're getting another one in that group. We're also getting an Andor
yeah. We're
pop.
getting Val from Andor. So we
Yep.
had talked about this. Like there hasn't been many pops. Legitimately, they've only been for cons, and this was actually, I think, a next logical choice of a character I would want to pop for. So
Mhm.
I think this is pretty cool. This is probably, it's funny, the two pops that I probably want from this con are that and the Treasure Planet one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for this one.
Yeah.
And then we
Uh
also, I'll run through a few more.
yeah.
Um, this one people have been seeing all over the place. I actually even saw it in Walmart, and I never see anything anywhere. It's the Spider-Man Bug Eyes armor.
Yeah.
So that one is already out there in the wild. And then we're also getting, continuing with Marvel, President Loki,
Mhm.
which you already have a common, but this one's cool because it also has like alligator Loki in it as well. So it's kind of nice little detail. This is a
Which that
Target
one's
share
out as well,
out in the
right?
wild too. Yeah,
Yeah, that one's been
it's
out.
it's crazy. It's also funny because like looking at like the sticker for the official con in this picture, normally they like go to get like this the same color scheme. This is completely different than the stickers that we've been seeing leaked, which I find
Yeah, this actual
interesting.
official one is completely different. Yeah,
Completely
than the
different.
winter con ones,
Yeah. Super
which is weird.
strange. Um, and then after that, there's like miscellaneous, just other DC ones, kind of like you said. We're getting another Black Adam rock pop. Like
Mhm.
this is him with the hood. And then yeah,
This one looks
the
pretty cool
it does.
compared to a lot of them. A lot of
It
detail on
does.
it.
It does look pretty cool. I am a fan of it. It's just there's I think four different molds of him from the movie. It's what
Yeah,
that to
really.
me that's crazy. um And then, like we said, a bunch of anime ones, but I feel like the crown jewel of this con in terms of the anime is going to be another One Piece Luffy with Thousand Sunny. So me and Migs don't know enough, but this base looks exactly like the pop that just came out in New York Comic Con. The bow looks a little different. I'm assuming that with Thousand Sunny is what makes it different. Or is
Yeah.
that the name? It looks like and everyone let us know in the comments, but
I'm
like
assuming that's that little lion that's
line in
on
the front, that's
the
what
front
makes
of the
this pop
boat or
different.
something.
Crazy to me that this is coming out this quickly, like immediately after that it just came out of New York Comic Con. Like, what's your opinion
Yeah.
on that?
No, I agree. I remember seeing it and I'm like, why are they coming out with this again? Because again, I don't know enough about the show, the character, or anything like that. I know One Piece, is pretty popular, and then it seems like it's gotten more popular lately. It's like one of those phase things for
Yeah.
young kids and stuff for watching it and stuff. But when it came out the first time, this Luffy one was like crazy sought after, and the price skyrocketed on a resale market. So it was obviously very popular and it was hard to get. It was one of the first ones that sold out and etc. So I'm assuming the same thing's gonna happen for this one again. Like Charlie said, we're not the biggest fans of anime in general, but specifically like this show, like we don't know enough about it. It's definitely a cool looking one. All the anime pops always look really cool. I think like some of these, like there's Bleach, like this is kind of cool. So there's a Bleach Pop. So like I've never watched Bleach, but I know what Bleach
Yep.
is. My sister-in-law actually is like a hardcore anime fan and even draws anime herself. She loves Bleach. It's like one of her favorites. That's the only reason why I kind of know of it. And Yasha and Bleach are like her big ones. So it's kind of cool to see like a character that looks pretty awesome. Black Clover, no idea what that is. Never even heard of it. YuGiOh, obviously, we know what that is, but there's a lot of more pops of those. And then I think it's kind of funny. Then we got one from My Hero Academia, and our boy Trey, who is kind of an anime fan, but he's a bigger Turtles fan. And I wonder if he's going to get this because it looks like a Ninja Turtle in disguise. Because when I saw this real quick,
Wow.
this guy
I wouldn't
Spinner
even.
looks
Yeah.
like he's one of the turtle mashups. Like maybe
It
you'll get it for that reason.
totally does. Trey, you have to get this pop.
kind of funny. But it's cool looking one. Again, they all look pretty cool, but know nothing about them enough to even try to go after them. And then there was two more. I think they named the Hush DC Pop and then another DC Justice League Raven. So, kind of random overall. I mean, if you're an anime or anime fan, you're probably loving this drop, specifically if you like One Piece, because that's probably going to be the grail of the whole thing.
Yeah, and I just look, so the entire boat is different.
Okay.
So
which I'm assuming it would be, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was exact same, but it's the same, like it's him on a boat. So it just like looks
so
funny
once again, we don't know much about the show, but with that being said, I mean, if I was a fan, it's pretty sick. Then you need to have both of these, I feel like.
Yeah.
So that's probably gonna be the it pop again of this con.
Definitely agree. But yeah, that's a big set of pops that are dropping. Did they say when this is?
They didn't.
Oh yeah.
They did?
They're here. I'd say December 2nd.
Oh, okay.
During like the disc trackers put it like the guide, the one that has all of them.
Yep.
Yeah, so December 2nd is when it's gonna be out. So a little while, but pretty cool. I mean, we'll see how the buildup goes for the rest of those. But yeah, definitely excited for some of those, but not many of them. What else we got there? Let's see. We had
we got a new Funko Shop exclusive of continuing the Star Wars Christmas like snowman line. We got Yoda. So I think that just came out. People are loving or hating this line. There's like no in between. Even though I feel like I think they look kind of cool if you like buy into these like
have you seen
holiday
them?
pops. I have. They look better in person, in my opinion.
They do.
It depends
but I
the
don't
character.
like that they're glittery. They're like glittery snow. So like it's a little. But what I was gonna say though, when you mentioned Yoda, the Yoda one is a billion times better than any of the original ones that drops, in my opinion. Like, I think the fact that they use carrots for his ears is like genius.
I agree. I think this. I didn't get it. Like, I want to get it. I don't think it's gonna sell out.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think this was the best one as well.
yeah. It's an interesting like attempt at like this whole Christmassy, wintry type of thing, which is,
Yeah,
I'm sure they're not gonna do it again, but it's kind of cool to see something different at least, especially of some of these characters.
agreed.
Um, but there was also speaking of Funko Shop, so Black Friday's coming up, and they did announce that they're going to be doing a mystery box. So Funko Shop Black Friday mystery box, Freddy Funko. So I think there's going to be a Freddy Funko in it, right? And then
So
you don't really know the rest.
they haven't. All they've said is you're definitely getting that Freddy Funko that's in that picture, and then you're gonna get to pick a theme.
Okay.
So I'm going with. I really hope I'm wrong, but this is their way of like getting rid of inventory that they don't want. That it's going to be like you're going to pick a comic book theme, you're going to pick like an anime theme. I hope it's like special pops, kind of like what GameStop does every year for Black Friday with their mystery
Yeah.
boxes.
I feel like it's not, but
Me too.
it'd be nice.
And I think
Because
that's why.
even the exclusive one that you're gonna get, him holding the wreath, like it's like cool, but a lot of times he's like, because I even for a while had the one where he was holding the box
Yeah,
that said something on it or whatever, and it was like holiday, and it just never really ever has value. It doesn't look the greatest, so like I feel like it's gonna just kind of be one of those mass-produced extra ones they toss in. But who knows what the mystery, like what are you gonna get? I mean, I'm hoping it's not just random leftover pops that they're
I
trying
hope
to get
it's
rid
not
of, but
either. Like,
I mean, we'll see.
it's such an
Kind
easy
of it.
opportunity for them to make something cool, but maybe that Freddy Funko is that thing. And they're
Yeah,
banking
it
people
could
will
be
buy it.
that, and
I
then a
mean,
bunch of random stuff.
I'm gonna
There's
get
no
one.
price point or anything, right?
There isn't, so that could depend. But I mean, I personally, I've said it before. Like, Christmas is my favorite holiday. Like, I want there to be Freddy Christmas NFTs. So this may be as
Oh yeah,
close as I'm gonna get. So I want that Freddy.
yeah. It'd still
So
be pretty cool. It's gonna be interesting to see. Mystery boxes are always kind of fun in general, especially if they're put out this way. Because then you really don't know like what you can get out of them. So who knows? We'll see.
another though, speaking of the holidays, these have obviously already they're supposed to come out on Black Friday, but some people already have seen them in their Walmarts. Is those new, like, what their official name I think is Funko Theaters Presents. They're basically like huge movie moments, and there's
Mm-hmm.
one of Home Alone, there's one of Elf, and there's one of Christmas Vacation. I mean, they look pretty cool. Like, to me too, like Home Alone's like one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, I think it looks like awesome. Like, these are actual scenes. Like,
Mm-hmm.
these are better than any. I know they're all holiday movies, in my opinion, like any scenes that they've ever done.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this is going to become a new line, but they're huge. That's, I
Yeah.
think, the biggest
Oh yeah,
problem.
yeah. They're big. It's cool because they are a little different. So we've had moments before, movie moments, and it's generally two pops,
Yep.
usually two characters, a little bit of a background or whatever it is, and they're usually like on like a stand type of thing. But this setup is like kind of like more like what you see in the screen. You got a back wall, and there's a scene, and it's multiple pops. Like the Home Alone one is three different people. The National Lampoon's one, I think, is like five different ones.
Yeah.
And then the Elf one has him and a couple multiple characters. So like it's a lot more involved in it. I have a feeling the price points of these is going to be pretty high because of that fact, and because it's a lot bigger, like the actual box. It's a very similar to the music like albums and like
Which
the
do you know how much they go
deluxe
for? Is it 50?
50, I think 40 or 50. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to be around that range. But yeah, they look awesome. They definitely picked three great movies and great scenes from the movies. So I like the concept of it. I like it. If you got room, it might be pretty cool. If you're a hardcore fan of one of these, then definitely like it could be something cool. Could be a cool gift as well because they're, holiday
Agreed.
themed as well. To somebody maybe who doesn't have thousands of pops like us. Maybe it'd be a good gift. But it's definitely pretty cool. Funko Shop definitely has a lot of stuff being announced as well, because this was already rumored, but just kind of look out for it, because supposedly the Hulk 3-liter soda, the Funko Shop exclusive, is going to be dropping soon. That's kind of already been known that it was going to be coming out, but look out for it, because the rumor is that pretty soon it might just drop. We'll probably get one of those emails like we usually been getting, like, half an hour beforehand, telling you that, this is going to be the drop, which I don't mind that they do that. Like, I like that better than when they used to just randomly drop and stuff.
And now I actually get the emails on time. Like,
yes,
before
except for when
like
it's after it was sold out. Yeah. So at least now they've figured that part out. God damn it. So that's definitely a good thing that they've been doing. And then we also have a lot of soda news.
Yes.
So I know we kind of mentioned it before, but I do want to get into this because I know this is going to be something we want to kind of go back and forth on. But
of course,
just off the bat, we'll talk about the first 3 like general soda release announcements. So we were talking about how sodas hadn't been announced in forever. We're like, what the hell's going on with sodas? And now we got bombarded with some sodas. So right off the bat, we did get a Lotso announcement from Toy Story. Awesome. Super sick. Flocked. Chase. Great. Perfect. We have a Felix soda, which is from what's the full name of that?
Felix the cat. That's just like
Felix the cat.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, Felix the cat. Which we have pops of that. We don't have soda, right? This is the first time.
No, we don't have soda. That's first
soda
time,
of that. And then we're getting the character from Dune, which is Paul Artemis.
Yeah,
his name. Which of course is Timothy Chalamet's character.
Yeah.
Which do you love?
I have no interest in this.
No. Okay.
People are surprised when I say this. I did not like this movie.
Yeah, I didn't love it or hate it. I'm just kind of like meh about it.
Some people call it like a masterpiece, though. I don't know what I'm missing. It's a snooze fest, in my opinion. I love.
Did you watch the original?
I like the original better.
Okay, yeah, because the original was a big deal, obviously, and like
and the book,
the fantasy world, and obviously there's the whole, storyline that George Lucas essentially used a lot of that to create Star Wars and all that universe, which is great. The cast is amazing. The film, like, it looked crazy. I just thought it was too drawn out and kind of boring, which I know they're gonna try to do a sequel and they're gonna, whatever. It is what it is. It was popular. It's a big enough thing. It's cool that it looks like the character, so it's cool.
It does.
Like, out with a soda.
I guess I'm just saying, like, it's funny. There hasn't been many sodas that have come out recently that I don't want. Like, I just have no interest in this one. I think this one will be like, I don't know. I think the Pops also kind of sat too. No one really wanted.
Yeah, they didn't. Yeah, they didn't really sell. So I don't see it really getting good. Even I think the Lotso out of the 3 of these is going to be the one that
amazing.
People love and will go after. But that was like the general drop. And then we get this news of, we actually spoke about this, I think, last time on the episode, that Amazon had rumored some Black Panther sodas because they were showing up with no pictures that they were supposedly coming out. So we were like, okay, that's kind of cool. We've never seen it do this, but oh man, I got some breaking news right here. We're going to talk about after. I'm going to try to remember this. Something just got posted, so we'll talk about it after. So they announced that you saw that, right?
Yeah.
So they announced that Black Panther sodas were going to come out. Then we get the official pictures. And when I tell you, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then they dropped another one later, which I'm assuming is kind of part of the line because it's from the Wakanda Forever movie. So 7 sodas from Wakanda Forever. And these sodas are amazing. Like, they look so sick. The Common and Chase on every one is out of this world. Best like combos of sodas we've seen in a really long time. The detail on all of these is great. The colors, everything is so sick. Like, it's so perfect. And then you inspect it a little bit more, and there's something interesting about it. So one of the sodas is a specialty series exclusive, which they've kind of done that before. I love the color of that sticker, like that little logo. It's
I
really
agree.
cool with the
Yeah.
crown and all that stuff. So great job. So that one's going to be the Anika one, Midnight Angel, which sick. But the other ones, they're all general, regular, and they're supposedly going to be just like regular releases. But the biggest thing is that everyone's noticing there are no piece counts on any of these sodas. Now, we've had tons of soda, related episodes. We had an episode completely just for soda. We talk about sodas all the time. Both of us are big fans of sodas. I got Charlie into it a little bit later because he wasn't really into sodas, and now he's loving sodas. I love them. One of the main reasons, and I don't know if you think the same way, but one of the main reasons I loved sodas was the piece count. And it wasn't that just like, it was more so that like they only made this many, even if the count was 20,000, which is huge, or it was 7,000. You knew how many they were, and that was it. If you had one of them, you felt cool because your pog said it was one of blah, whatever it was. It had a chase. The chase was one of 6. That made it even more limited. All right, cool. This is one of 2,000 or whatever it may be, right? That whole thing now goes out the window. You're now basically saying these are general common sodas that they can, one, continue to produce, flood it out there for everybody. And I just think it kind of takes away that whole difference between a soda and a pop. Because to me, that was always the biggest difference. Like we've talked about pops and how even if they were limited, unless they were like a numbered Freddy, we never knew how many. There could have been 500,000 or there could have been 20,000. But to us, it was a lot because it was just a common pop. With sodas, you always knew what it was essentially, even though we've had our comments on like, is there really only 10,000? There's also international, like that'll come up. But it still was the fact that there was a sticker on it. Well, not even a sticker, it was like a part of the can that told you how much it was, and the pog also said that. So like that's my initial thoughts. Like what are your thoughts? Because I think you probably are the same boat, but what do you think?
I mean, I completely agree with you. It's one thing that, I mean, to me, that's ingrained even in the design of the can. Like my eyes gravitate immediately to the number. I don't care. Like you said, the 20,000 ones, some of them are my favorite ones. Like my Iron Man soda is not, it's just the fact knowing that there is a piece count I have always just enjoyed. And I've thought long and hard about this. I don't, there's one good thing about this though, in my opinion, as like a collector of someone who just collects for fun. I feel like I think this is going to become a new strategy for Funko with sodas where like, and I know we say they mass produce so many pops, but like it seems like they're going to be doing these for like quote unquote, like the big temple Marvel movies, for example. Because I mean, we've always said like we're missing so many MCU sodas. And like I feel like now this is how we're gonna get them rather than not flood us with just all Marvel, like quote unquote piece count ones, if that makes sense. And maybe it's showing that sodas really, I know we've said it, like how popular they are, but like, are they trying to say that like soda's now competing? To me, this is like soda's now competing with pop, which is like wild to think. Because that's essentially, I feel like, what they're turning it into by doing this. Do you agree?
They're putting it in that same like type of category of collecting like piece, like because it used to be, like I said, Funko Pops were just general release things, and you had certain stickers for, if it was released only exclusive to Target or exclusive to Walmart, or if you happen to have a limited piece count, it was a limited piece count, which was special to like a con or a Freddy or whatever it was. But the whole aspect of like pops usually were just, they were out there. You didn't really know how many they were. And then since the day sodas have come out, they've always been limited to a certain number. And like we've talked about in the past, it was like low numbers and then they were really high and they kind of slowed down to how many they were and it was less.
Yep.
But it's a mix of numbers. And I always thought the numbers were random. I always thought it was weird, like how they came up with them. But it just was what sodas were. They were always limited. Like now you're gonna open up a pog and it's just gonna be like,
I wonder if we won't get them.
The Shuri one. Well, yeah, I would hope there's at least this pog, but I would think, it just says the Shuri, just because the chase is still exists.
You're right.
So you're still gonna get some kind of difference, right? So I'm assuming it's just gonna say Shuri or Shuri Glow or whatever the chase is, and it'll just say it on it now. But it just takes away.
It takes away the fun of it.
I don't know. It takes away the fun of it. And I know there's a lot of, big collectors and people out there who aren't soda lovers already. And like maybe this now makes them not like them even more. But there's a lot of the community that's very into sodas. And like I said, a lot of the reason was what we stated, like the fact that they were limited to certain numbers. And now, yeah, as a collector, this means you can more than likely get these because they're just going to continue to make them, or there's just going to be so many of them. Everybody's going to sell them. And I don't know. I'm just like really torn on what I think because like, yeah, I'm a true collector. Like I get mad when I can't get something because like I missed out on it because all these other people bought it. But me getting it, if I do get it because it was limited, outweighs me being
part
upset
of the fun
that I
of
didn't get
collecting.
it. Exactly. And I know that there's going to be stuff that I'm not going to be able to get. But when I do get something, I feel awesome about it, that I just know that's the cycle that it is. And it's just interesting. Now, there's tons of pictures. I don't know if we have like an official, like a Funko's coming out like, hey, our sodas aren't going to have piece counts. I don't know if it's only for this or certain lines or what their strategy is, but we're kind of just going off of pictures in the community. And as of now, everything that's been posted doesn't have the piece count for these sodas. I don't know if this is going to be a strategy that they do only for specific lines.
That's what I think.
Because they clearly dropped the Lotso soda and the Felix, and those are numbered. They're regular sodas. But based off of some of the rumors, we do have like a few different lines that are supposedly going to be similar to this.
Yes.
And based off of that, the rumors that are out right now is we have What If, a line for What If, Shazam, which we know is going to be coming out soon, Guardians of the Galaxy, the next wave of theirs, the Into the Spider-Verse, the new Aquaman, the Obi-Wan series, and the Marvels, which is the Miss Marvel and theirs version. Yep. And all of those they have now basically put into where we've seen 6 to 7 or whatever characters from each of those that is going to be coming out in soda. And it's basically them. They've never done this where they're like, a movie or a show, this is what we're making sodas. Here's all the sodas from that line, which is a very Funko Pop type thing. And they've done it big time with Marvel. We talk about it all the time, but they've never done it with soda. The only time we've ever seen sodas in batches like that was like the cooler when it dropped, which those kind of went away, right? Why don't we get coolers or packs? That makes more sense. And then maybe like the 3 Hocus Pocus girls, or when it's something like that, but never like where it's like, here's a whole wave. Like we got Black Panther, it just came out, Wakanda Forever. All right, boom, we're going to drop 7 sodas all from this. Now, if they all look like what they've done with Wakanda Forever and they're putting that much detail into them and they're killing it with the chases, I can't complain because it's going to be something I'm definitely going to want to get and add to the collection. Whereas if they were lazy ass chases and we're getting a full line, I might complain a little bit more.
It's funny.
Then it's like a waste.
I mean, we joke about it all the time, but I wonder if now, if they're quote unquote common, they will put more effort into the chase because in their mind, it's more fiscally makes sense because they're not just making X amount of them. It
makes sense.
This is because this, I mean, I'm agreeing with everything you're saying. Like this whole strategy is just, it doesn't make sense to me. Just slap on a fake number anyway, then. Even for these Wakanda Forever ones, like it's almost like, why not just keep doing that? Because even though like commons are commons, they do stop ultimately. I mean, I guess I want to say they stopped producing them, but then they all of a sudden they'll come up on Funko.com that they came out again in like a new box or something.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe that is what they're going to start doing with these.
I
It's
don't
just
know.
weird. It's weird.
It's definitely
I'm
weird.
very torn about it.
It's an interesting strategy because, like I said, even the fact that they announce upcoming lines, well, they didn't even announce; they're kind of like
They're all
leaking.
rumors, yeah.
Like Funko's not
I mean, they're
announcing this. The only thing
happening.
Funko
Yeah.
officially announced was Wakanda Forever, but
Yeah.
everything else, they're usually pretty spot on with a lot of these pages that are leaking things. So they obviously have an inside person that's saying this. Um, but the fact that we're getting them now, waves of shows and movies and stuff, is cool. Like I don't hate that. It's interesting that now that's what they're doing. It seems like that's what they should have done a long time ago, because instead we would just get a sporadic random group
Yeah.
of sodas and some lines and not, So like I get that. It's cool. I feel like they can still do that and number them, but who knows? Because like I said, right now it's just the Wakanda Forever ones that aren't numbered. The rumor is this is kind of maybe something they're gonna do. This is what they're gonna go going forward. I hope it's kind of a mix. I hope it's only when it's like a very generic, release for a movie or a show or whatever it is. Whereas it's not the thing for all the sodas. We kind of already went through this kind of speed bump with international sodas, because that was always like a thing. Like, all right, well, is there 10,000 and 2,000, or is there 12,000, or is there only 10,000? Are these better because there's less? And that was a fiasco, and that now kind of seems to be dying away, like the whole international aspect. I know the rumor was, they were going to get rid of that, and is it because they're doing this?
This.
Like this is worldwide, so you don't need a specific new Pog. They don't need to make the different colors, because we all knew the Pogs from international were
I don't
flipped. They were
understand why they
different.
ever did that though, if I'm being honest. They
No
don't do
idea.
it
The
with
whole way they
every
dropped these
but
were weird.
pops.
Not at all. It was very strange. It was very, very strange. Like it should have just been more of an, and I think like sodas in other countries are harder to get as well. Like in Europe and Canada, I know for a fact they struggle to get sodas. And
Yep.
if you get them from the US, it's super expensive. So very weird. Definitely tell us your thoughts, because I would love to kind of hear back from what everybody else thinks, because I'm sure there's some people that will agree with us. There's probably people that don't agree with us. People probably love the fact that they do this, because now you can get any soda and not have to worry about it running out. But I still do like that. I like that, like, I could still look at an older soda that I've had for a long time and realize there's only 6,000 of them or 7,000 of them, and know that that's kind of it. Like Charlie said, sometimes you see these kind of pop up again. I know a good friend of ours, Jeremy, he did a video that he recently picked up eBay, 2 Batman sodas, which obviously they're super old and they're sealed. And that'll happen once in a while, but it's not enough to be like, there's clearly more of these sodas than it says. Like you usually don't
Exactly.
see that. So it's interesting. These new lines look like they're probably going to be pretty sweet. So either way, I'm sure we're going to get some awesome looking ones. Again, the Black Panther Wakanda Forever ones look so dope. Like they just look ridiculous. But yeah, let us know your thoughts on the sodas and what you think, going forward. What's Funko going to do? Are they going to continue to do the no numbers, or what do you think they should do, kind of going forward?
Yeah.
But we got to talk about this ridiculous, quick, hard hitting breaking news.
Yeah,
And
we
in the
do.
middle of an episode. This has never happened, where something has dropped this awesome that we're like, bro, we need to talk about this. And it kind of falls back to something we've talked about multiple times.
I know.
We're like, what in the world is Funko doing?
We were just talking about this.
We're literally just talking about this. But we finally have a leak of some photos of the Wave 2, which is ridiculous because it's been like a year, of the No Way Home Funko Pop line. So finally, so it looks like this is gonna kind of be like, this isn't exactly what we were looking for, because I know we're still waiting for some of the multi-packs that was going to come out, the 3-pack, all that kind of stuff. But we do have a few Spider-Man. So we are getting a Tom Holland Spider-Man. We're getting Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Yeah. We're getting the Amazing Spider-Man. So obviously we're getting Tobey Maguire and
Garfield.
Drawing a blank.
Andrew
Yeah, Andrew
Garfield.
Garfield.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Then we're getting another Spider-Man, which that's clearly the one at the end, right?
Yep.
That looks like his suit.
It's 100%, which is awesome.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
it's shiny blue.
if you haven't seen the movie by now, that means
It's been a year. There is
Yeah.
no such thing as spoilers right now for Spider-Man No Way
Exactly.
Home. Like,
So
what are you doing?
This pop is actually awesome.
That one's sick. And he's like flying with the web. Amazing. MJ. So we're getting into MJ. Great. Doctor Strange. Okay, cool. Looks similar to a lot of other ones. And then we're finally getting some of these new villains. So we're getting the Doc Ock, which I think it looks amazing. It looks just like him. Like the character looks so good.
100%.
We're getting
The
Electro
one
again.
is awesome.
And then the Green Goblin, which is clearly the one from the movie because it's kind of him in his hood and makeshift kind of looking thing. So pretty sick. But what are your initial thoughts? Because this is literally, I literally got an alert and diss trackers and people be posting stuff. And I'm always like, oh, whatever. But as soon as I saw this little thumbnail like picture of it, I was like, is this the Spider-Man line? And it finally is here.
It's wild that these are finally here. Personally, I feel like they should have made these ready for the holidays because, and at this point, I don't think they will be. It's wild. We actually didn't even touch on this during the news and rumors, but like that we're just getting these pops and we're going to be getting the Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumanium pops, which have pretty heavy spoilers. If you don't want to look at those, do not look at the images. But I feel like we didn't get these pops because of spoilers. And it's wild, some of the pops that look like are part of wave 1 for that movie. So it's weird. At this point, it's funny. They know we're collectors. We love this movie. We want them, but like it's weird that they're coming out now. I think they missed the boat. Right. Yeah. I mean, I know people are gonna go crazy over them, but
oh, of course. It's all like you want to say like, oh, it's too late, like you should or whatever, but like they're still awesome. We still wanted them so long ago. So like we're still gonna want them again. And like you said, to hint off of the Ant-Man, so Quantumania, I know we announced it in the previous episode that there was gonna be a line for these pops, which we thought was interesting because the movie wasn't out yet. But with Marvel, they've been doing that a lot where they drop in a line and then you get the movie and then they drop another wave. With Spider-Man, they didn't do that. But we did get like leaks of the Ant-Man ones, and there's obviously a character that's going to be in there, which is a huge spoiler. So like, you know, pages did let you know it's a spoiler because if you didn't want to know or you didn't know that a certain character was going to be in that movie, there's already a pop of them, which is interesting that it's in the initial line, which I thought was kind of odd. Usually that's more of like a watch the movie, now it drops in a second wave type of thing, but which they clearly kind of did with the Spider-Man ones. They just took forever. So it is kind of interesting, but it's cool that we're getting that, and it's kind of nice to see something breaking news like that like in the middle of the episode.
And it's nice to see the official images, and they look awesome. Yeah,
they look amazing. We already kind of, like we said, we knew they were going to be coming out. Supposedly there's going to be more, but I guess we'll look out for that. I'm sure now we'll get more of these. These pictures like kind of leaked on Amazon, I guess, which is interesting that a lot of Amazon stuff what gets leaked. But we'll see. But that's definitely all the soda news like we were talking about before, and even that hard hitting news there. Did want to end it with the Disney news that we want to talk about. As obviously this is a big deal for any Disney fans in general, but like you probably are tapped more into this than I am. But for those of you who don't know, I'll just give the general aspect of the news and what just was recently announced. So Bob Chapek, which was the actual CEO for just a couple years, right?
Yeah,
fairly new.
Right before the pandemic.
He was correct me if I'm wrong, involved in Disney at some point, and then basically moved up right once
he ran the
Iger
parks.
left.
He ran the parks division for a while, and obviously reported to Bob Iger.
Okay. And then Bob Iger obviously left, retired, I'm assuming, right? Like
he retired,
done and whatever. And then now we are getting word that he is returning to take back his mantle.
It's wild.
And Chapek is out completely.
Yeah, I mean, I can go into this because I'm very heavily. He was fired. So,
Okay. Which we kind of had word from early on that he was destroying things when it
yeah,
came
I
to
mean, he's
Disney and where they were going.
completely different type of leader than Bob Iger was, a creative guy, put creatives first, where Chapek was more of a quote unquote like suit. He basically, I was telling this to someone the other day, like if Bob Iger would have said something was blue, Chapek just made a point to say it was green, just to do something different. He's made a lot of controversial decisions at the parks. He really nickel and dimed you for everything. People feel like they're losing the magic. I mean, I can talk about this all day. Like, he had a lot of issues with Scarlett Johansson over her pay with Black Widow when they
Yeah.
changed the movie, which, like, he was just, he didn't realize the importance of talent, where Bob Iger, like, they all loved him. And like, one thing that was crazy, like Josh Gad, who's very much in the Disney family, he's the voice of Olaf for everyone who's not familiar with his name. He immediately took to his Instagram and said the king has returned. The fact that, like, someone who is basically on the Disney payroll is shitting on his quote unquote boss getting fired, it just shows how bad things were. Cast members hated him. Even though it's funny, he supposedly got like a 20+ million buyout. So
Jeez.
who cares? I mean, I'm sure he'll never really work in the industry again, but he doesn't need to. I mean, he's probably embarrassed as of right now. Like, it's just so interesting. I'm someone who's like into the business side of media and I work in media, but like the average person doesn't know who like the CEO of like these entertainment companies are. It just shows how big Bob Iger is. Like, people are like pumped about this. He's like taking, it's sad because like this was happened yesterday, and like as a fan, we were all really sad about just David Frank, and then all of a sudden this happens at night. My entire social media feed changed from Power Rangers to like Bob Iger coming back, and it's just wild. The memes right now are insane. I mean, someone sent me one of the Circle of Life, and they put like Chapek's head on Simba, and Rafiki throws him over, and like everyone's cheering that Iger's back. It's just like funny. Or Thanos is Chapek, and Bob Iger snaps his fingers like, I am Iger Man. It's just like funny stuff. And it's just crazy in general. Like, this stuff like doesn't happen. Like, the fact that the board got him out and like they brought back the formulator, who, as like a Disney like sweaty, I think he, besides Walt Disney, I mean, this guy is like the greatest CEO that Disney's ever had. He's one of the greatest CEOs like ever, in my opinion. So they brought him back to right what wrong. Like, the stock price just took a hit the other day, and like when he was being interviewed on like CNN, MSNBC, Bob Chapek was kind of like acting like he didn't really care. Like, it's all good, man. Like, you can't do that when you're in charge of like one of the biggest companies in the world. Like, Kramer was basically being like, this guy needs to be fired now. It happened. It's crazy. And supposedly like a lot of shakeups are coming out at Disney. I actually think Kathleen Kennedy, who's in charge of Lucasfilm, is gonna be next to go.
Yeah. I was
Sorry,
gonna say,
I can talk about this all day.
I know we talked about
podcast.
I know we talked about her specifically one time where we were talking about Star Wars and stuff. But yeah, it's interesting in general. I mean, it's gonna the landscape of things still get affected, even though we're talking about collecting and Funko. A lot of it stems from Disney, and a lot of Disney, Marvel, Star Wars. It's all under that umbrella, so it's all gonna still be somewhat affected by who's on top and what are their decisions and what are they doing. So it's pretty cool to see that, like, hopefully now things turn and change. I think it's more interesting, not just that he got fired and it's like whatever, kid the boot. I think it's just crazy that they go back to Iger, like he comes back to basically take it over, versus where like they fire him and someone else starts up who's been under Iger, or something like that. You would think that, I'm assuming he's gonna build it back up and hand it off to somebody, hopefully.
Yeah, he's actually
in better
been like
hands, but
tasked to do that. It's a 2-year contract, and the shareholders are like, your job is to find a successor. I don't think Bob Chapek was necessarily the person he wanted to succeed him, but it's funny because Bob Iger like kept extending his contract, and I think some people he was grooming were like, is he ever gonna leave? Not that they didn't love him, but they like left the company. So then it ultimately was like, oh God, like I feel like Chapek was just like the only person,
Yeah.
like logical. But it's also cool because Bob Iger loves Funko and he bought a ton of stock in the company when he was during his
Yeah.
retirement. So, which I can tell as like a fan, we've talked about this before. They had a bunch of like their own type of vinyl collectibles, and Iger made Funko obviously a very big deal for Disney. They have the parks exclusives, so he's a Funko fan. So that's also good. JPEG probably doesn't even
Even
know what
better.
Funko is.
Nope. He just looks like a guy you would never want to talk to.
Yes.
um, but yeah, definitely wanted to like, just close up with that because I know it is something that was cool. I know you definitely were really tapped into that, but like I said, just for the fans and people out there, it is something that still kind of affects us as collectors, especially
Yeah.
fans of Disney and all that kind of stuff. But that'll be it for the episode. Again, this was episode 50. Big episode for us, a lot of great news, a lot of awesome stuff. Obviously, we started off, with the sad news, but like we said, we're gonna, his memory will live on, especially in the green. Anytime you see the Green Ranger, White Ranger for sure.
Yep.
But had to end it with some cool, good news with the whole Disney swap there of the CEO, which is awesome. But let us know a lot of stuff we went over. I want to kind of just hear your thoughts if you're listening. We put a poll up, definitely answer. If not, head over to YouTube and definitely comment, in regards to what your thoughts are on the sodas. What do you think about this whole new Disney news? Anything you guys want to talk about that we've talked about, and just chime in. We'd love to see all your comments, going forward. But yeah, this is, going to be dropping obviously this week before Thanksgiving. So, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. If you, celebrate and you're with your, family and friends, hopefully everybody stays safe. I know this is, a week that a lot of people do traveling and going back to different family stuff. So definitely travel safe, be safe in that, but definitely stay, kind of with what happened, sadly, with everything that happened, with this passing. I did want to say, like, definitely talk to all your friends.
Yeah.
Make sure that you
Agreed.
are, speaking out to anybody, family, friends, everybody, has somebody that is here willing to listen to you. So make sure that regardless of what you're going through, you may think that you're alone, but there's plenty of us out here to listen to you guys. So make sure that, you reach out before, anything else bad happens, because we hate to see it. Happens a lot in this world, and it's just really sad to see, especially if it's somebody that is close to you. So make sure that you are reaching out to family and stuff. But Charlie, you can
Yeah,
take us out.
And even we're willing to listen. Like we hope, like even listening or watching us, brings joy to your day. So we really appreciate that. But and like Meg said, I hope everyone has a happy Thanksgiving, and let us know if you get any good Funko Black Friday deals. Let us know in the comments or messages. But as always, if you're listening on the podcast platforms, make sure you like follow us. Like Apple has like a thing where you can add us, Spotify has that, and we do add these polls, like interact with those. I know they're not as common, but we appreciate that. And then on our YouTube channel, please, we hope at this point we've gained your subscription. And if you're new, if you could just please subscribe to our channel, make sure you like our videos so they get, sent out to the YouTube algorithm, which is a beast. And make sure you just comment on our videos and hit that notification bell so you know when new videos come out. And then, with that being said, thank you so much for your support. And until the next podcast. Later, everyone.
Have a good one, guys.